Minecraft YouTube. It's not something we seem to be able to escape. Even since the beginning of old YouTube, Minecraft YouTubers have existed and been popular. YouTubers like Captain Sparkles or Stampy have honestly been part of most of our childhoods. That trend seemed to die down at a certain point, until 2019, when there was a massive spike of popularity for Minecraft again. This is modern day Minecraft YouTube. I'm trying to encapsulate the Minecraft boom of 2020, what led up to it, why it's now one of the most revered fandoms in the entire Minecraft sphere, but even just the fandom sphere. Why do you always see Minecraft YouTubers do not interact in people's Tumblr posts? Well, there is a lot. It's honestly one of the most interesting fandoms I've been a part of. I find that a lot of people outside of the Minecraft community do not understand the fandom space because they assume it is one Minecraft community. But no, we are all like smaller Minecraft fan bases, and honestly most of us don't get along. When you think of Minecraft YouTube, you think of maybe the drama-filled Twitter side, or maybe you think of the more family-friendly side of things, like Hermitcraft. And honestly, Hermitcraft is like that one cousin in your family that has his shit together, and you only really see during birthday parties or holidays, the birthday parties in question being MCC. For this video, I made a Google form asking people their thoughts on the fandom, what it was like participating in this fandom, their worst memories, their best memories. I will not be able to get through all of that because there were over 300 responses. But thank you for reacting to it. It was very fun to read too. This will be about modern day YouTube, because honestly at that point there's already so much that falls under that specific umbrella that I can't even get through everything. So if I were to talk about the history of old Minecraft YouTube, that'd be a whole different story. This will be about from 2019 to the current day. But if I miss anything, then please do comment. I love reading comments and stuff. Also, because I felt like it looked empty behind me, so I had like printed out a bunch of logos from different Minecraft content, SMPs and stuff, and things that I want to talk about. There wasn't enough ink in the printer, so it's kind of sad. I will be talking about a lot of terrible people in this video, a lot of terrible content creators. If I mention a content creator that is a terrible person, I won't have written down, this is a terrible person, in like big red letters. Not everyone I mention is someone I support. It's just that they are important to the story I'm telling.
Say the line, Bart!
Only 9% of all my viewers are actually subscribed. So if you're not subscribed, and you like autistic rambles, please subscribe. Yeah! 2019 really was the renaissance of Minecraft YouTube. A lot of people that used to watch content creators as kids would come back to the game and play it again. On March 1st, 2019, the server SMP Live was made by Call Me Carson and C-Scoop. This was a survival multiplayer server which had one rule. You had to be streaming. It had like a lot of names that would become big in the Minecraft sphere. We had people like Ted Nivison, Jay Schlatt, Wilbur Sitt. We even had the voice of Gumball.
Hey all, Gumball Watterson here!
I'm definitely going to overstate the importance of this server in the Minecraft boom of 2019, which could very clearly be credited to PewDiePie, who at the time also had a Minecraft Let's Play, which was immensely popular, getting 54 million views on his first video. SMP Live's first VODs only had 4.1 million. So while PewDiePie definitely was doing better in numbers, I would argue that the fandom that was created around SMP Live would be the building ground of what will become modern day Minecraft YouTube as a whole. Because this is where Twitter stands come in. The importance of Twitter culture and stan culture will be something we're gonna have to mention a lot in this video. Huge fandoms around YouTubers isn't anything new, but the way this fandom would kind of fandomize a lot of the YouTubers' personas is definitely going to be very indicative of Minecraft YouTuber culture, which, again, not inherently something new. Septiplier and Darkiplier are a thing, but to these YouTubers, it was something that they had never encountered before. A streamer like Cameron Carson made his start in reaction-type comedy videos. This was even Wilbur Soot's first step back into Minecraft YouTube. Even the insistence of calling a Minecraft server a SMP, which stands for Survival Multiplayer, kind of comes from this server. And while SMP's lives usage of the term comes from Minecraft SMP, which is oftentimes credited as the first proper content creation SMP, but again, the insistence of using specifically SMP in every server name is definitely coming from here. Around the time gaming content definitely made the switch from like Let's Plays to real-time streaming, and then just uploading the stream highlights to YouTube. And SMP Live was definitely like one of the first to really capture that and use it for their server. But also just the whole vibe of SMP Live was very different. Hermitcraft, for example, largely consisted of family-friendly Minecraft build content, but it's also the longest-standing Minecraft content SMP, being around the time in its 7th season. It is a good reference for what the more calm side of Minecraft's YouTube fandoms can be like. Because it is both OG Minecraft YouTube, but also new Minecraft YouTube, because it really just stood the test of time. Meanwhile, SMP Live was, well...
You like dick and balls?
I will eliminate the middle class.
You like dick and balls?
You like dick and balls?
Oh, it's a dick and balls, Travis! What the fuck? Hey, Pete, what do you think about dick and balls?
Keemstar decided to also capitalize on the popularity of Minecraft YouTube by making Minecraft Monday, which was inspired by the Fortnite Friday. Minecraft Monday was an event where OG Minecraft YouTubers and other content creators would play in a Hunger Games style game and other mini games for money. This also had massive names like Ninja, PewDiePie, James Charles, and is also the origin of this absolutely hilarious clip.
Hey, come on, keep going. Oh shoot, it's James Charles! Now's my chance!
It's fine.
Are the people behind us?
James Charles is gonna die today, boy!
Wait, is that you?
I got it! He's not too hard!
Wow, this
Don't
is
be
like...
rude to James, guys.
Well, it's literally...
It is also the origin of this meme.
Just go that way, just go that way. Oh! Carson? Are you okay?
No!
The event was known for being incredibly scuffed. The first event crashed. There were instances of people being stuck in walls, the point systems not making any sense. The event got hacked, the last event, to the point that all the content creators went to play on Hypixel instead. This is where one YouTuber, known for his PvP skills, really made a splash.
No way, that 5?
Stop!
8 kills and a dub.
Dude, he's something else. He really is. Like,
Oh, Techno got another kill.
My chart chat is saying Technoblades and Shotgun Raids are gonna fucking obliterate us.
Technoblade. During the event, Technoblade got nerfed many times. At one point, even getting a hit on him from Mr. Beast, where people could make money if they killed him during the event. And also, it started kind of a controversy around people not liking when skilled Minecraft players were teamed with other skilled Minecraft players. Apple even being removed from the event for the crime of being a Minecraft player. Around this time, another content creator started making YouTube videos about PewDiePie's Let's Play, but also other Minecraft content, including Minecraft Mondays. This content creator DM'd Technoblade asking if they could team. Technoblade ghosted him. I'm sure that this person will not become a big Minecraft YouTuber after this. Nope. I'm sure we won't hear from him ever again. August of 2019, Wilbur Soot posted the video Minecraft, but every 5 minutes the sea level rises. This starting a trend of the Minecraft butt video, a very overused format at this point, where you would code something into Minecraft, play it for a video, and then just make funny content. Minecraft butt. I don't know. Minecraft butt, every time I take damage, lava happens. So, editing Pinky here, this will be like a little section that I might do sometimes when I feel like I didn't add a certain thing, an important aspect. I get kind of head empty when there's a camera in my face. And sometimes I forget things even though I have a script with me. Another common YouTube trend is the 100 players YouTube video, where a content creator would get 100 of their viewers and have them build something or do something while they observe. This was started by RT Game, who had like a really cool series where he would have people kind of build stuff. One of the coolest projects was the one where he had people build different countries and kind of what they associate with those countries.
Free weed while stock lasts, sponsored by Weed Inc. Once again, the cultural significance represented in Amsterdam.
It's very cool. After the end of Minecraft Monday, a lot of other events would be made. One of these events would stand the test of time. MC Championship. The first MC Championship happening in November of 2019. It was organized by Dang, that's a long name, also known as Scott, together with the Nox group. Scott being a Minecraft YouTuber on the more calm side of Minecraft YouTube. MC Championship would happen every month with a bunch of content creators.
For the first few MCCs back in the day, like trying to get 40 people to show up for another Minecraft tournament, like back into 2019, there was Minecraft tournaments out the wazoo. Like there was all over the place. There was Minecraft Mondays, then to compete with them, Minecraft Saturdays started. But it used to be me like struggling to get people to show up.
And SP Live's relationship with its fan base was very strained. When JSlat, a content creator who really became big because of SMP Live, face revealed for the first time, the reaction was kind of weird to him.
I was kind of terrified because thousands of accounts run by middle school girls had just changed their profile picture to the same image. Because that was all it is. It was just like a 15-second clip of me doing this face. So I was like, and that's what I looked like. And that's the only image there was.
People would make edits and add him as their profile picture on Twitter and be kind of weird about it.
Me with fucking hearts around my face, like it was so weird. I just didn't understand it. Like I couldn't wrap my mind around the fact that someone cared that much about a fucking Minecraft YouTuber.
Which to him was something, again, he had never faced. And yes, that is JSlat.
I feel like Ted is like, you know the character, you guys watch Has Been Hotel?
I fully believe that JSlat got body snatched at some point by the Not Them, because that is not the same person. I've never seen anyone hit Twink death faster than JSlat. 2 months later, Call Me Carson did the infamous Serieus stream, in which he talked about the water bottle situation.
But tonight, I saw a tweet on my timeline that really disturbed me, and it creeped me out beyond belief. It says, I went to TwitchCon, I met my favorite streamers, especially Cooper. I may have taken a plastic water bottle that was Cooper's, and I still have it to this day. Which is really fucking weird, and I think to a lot of people that's completely understandable.
Water bottle situation where someone stole C-Scoop's water bottle is very interesting because it is kind of debated in the fandom whether it's real or not. It probably isn't. I've seen a lot of people say that the post is a copy pasta, which was taken seriously, but I can't find any actual evidence for that. All of the references to that specific kind of post are after the original water bottle post, referencing that post. Maybe I'm missing something. I've tried really looking into it because I think it would be really funny if it turned out to be a copy pasta, but I have no proof of it. But this is also where SMP Rompa gets mentioned. SMP Rompa being a fanfic mixing SMP Live content creators together with the game Danganronpa. which, if you don't know what Danganronpa is, it's a video game about a death game where teenagers have to kill each other.
They have stories of me killing my friends that I interact with on a day-to-day basis, which is fucked.
To a certain part of the fandom, making fan content of their YouTubers felt very natural, because content creators like JShat really clearly play a character of the businessman, or in Charlie's Minecraft, but every 5 minutes there's a natural disaster. There is like a weird narrative plot going on. Even if it's funny, there is a story being told.
Charlie, no, we killed him. Charlie. The world is on fire. Look at him, there he is. You know it's there he is. Do you see him? Charlie. I thought it was over.
So people felt like they could make fan content of that. This felt like characters on the screen. There was this weird separation between content creator, their persona, and them being a character. I remember this very specific example of the natural disaster video where there was an AU made called Accidental Gods AU, where Carson and Schlatt were gods who could gift other people powers. There was, like, for every character there was fanfic and fan art, and I'm really sad because a lot of it is gone. And the original creators of AU seem to have deleted their accounts. The fandomization of personhood was understandably not accepted by certain content creators. It became a weird tightrope of what kind of fan content was allowed to be made. Fan edits are cringy and weird unless they're funny. You're allowed to make fan art, but don't get too passionate. Fanfic is always kind of considered weird.
Boundaries, discourse, and call-out culture. That bitch Call Me Carson destroyed this fanbase's ability to understand how creator boundaries are supposed to work, and I hate him every second for it. It's not about harassing fans for doing shit you don't like. It's about not showing content creators things they don't like in their spaces, tagging them on Twitter, their chat, YouTube comments. This culture leads people to quite literally dono creators with TTS in the most in-their-face way possible with invasive-ass questions like, "Are you okay with ABO?" or whatever, when they're literally live on stream, if that's something they have the capacity to just answer on the fly, and then use their answer as ammunition to harass other fans endlessly about it. Stop, bro. Block people that do stuff you don't like. That's literally it. Grow up. You're not saving anyone by calling out a 15-follower account for drawing 2 Minecraft cubes kissing.
The close proximity of content creators to their fan base kind of made people have to tiptoe around fan content, because they were always being perceived by the people they were making fan content about. I do think it is valid to feel uncomfortable with people kind of dehumanizing you and your personhood by viewing you as a character. I always think back to this quote from the Silt Versus team in a Q&A about fan content.
But also setting boundaries. With Askew, I remember someone posted a fan fiction. So I think I jumped onto Archive of Your Own and was in the comments going, like, yeah, I love this. And then just got a very awkward response from someone saying, yeah, I didn't really think you were going to see this. And it was just that realization of, just because someone's created something about the show doesn't mean they want to hear from you. You've got to give people their own space and just step back from them and let them create what they want to create without making it weird. So
for a lot of people, fandom is not there to be noticed by the creators. It is to make content for themselves that they like, and maybe someone else might like it as well. And then there is that kind of level with content creators, because content creators are so close to their fandom that you have this weird dynamic of people seeing the fan content being made, or thinking that it is for them because it is art of them. That's like a conversation that has to happen constantly in like fandom spaces, especially around content creators. And of course, respect people's boundaries. At this point, a lot of content creators have made fun of SMP Rompa and kind of been jokey about it. I know Wilbur said Reddit, apparently. And for a very long time, it was lost media. But this year, SMP Romba has been found. Meanwhile, Hermitcraft had, weirdly enough, a different issue. There was constant infighting on whether you were allowed to ship the content creator. Zombie Cleo, a content creator from Hermitcraft, saw people harassing strippers and said something about it, saying that you shouldn't be harassing people for the content they put online. Which then she got bullied off of Tumblr by the fandom. The Hermitcraft fandom, because of this, kind of has a very specific rule on how you approach shipping content. You need to have it separated from the main tag and under the tag Hermit Shipping, so people who don't want to see it can block it. Slowly, SMP Live was dying out, as is the fate of most Minecraft SMPs. In its place came SMP Earth, a server started by Wilbur and was played on a direct replica of the Earth. It's where the life of one 16-year-old YouTuber would be changed.
Earth SMP. Earth SMP is a live-streamed survival multiplayer server with all of your favorite content creators, and also Tommy in.
Recently, I got invited to a new Minecraft server.
Tommy in it. A last-minute addition to the server, Tommy in it kind of made a name for himself from being annoying. He added conflict to the server, pranking other content creators. But he clearly had an inspiration from people like JSlag, and while a lot of people perceived him to be very annoying, others also saw the potential in him. He really had a knack for YouTube. Then Dream uploaded his first Manhunt in December of 2019, a format where he would speedrun the game and one of his friends would hunt him down trying to stop him. This kind of exciting format of one person having to complete a goal while also being chased, having this very energetic vibe to it, really worked.
I just want to see him die, come on. Oh, he's on the edge of a lava pool.
Oh my god.
Get him. What?
And it is also a format he really ran into the ground. But because it was as good of a concept as it was, he got a pretty big fan base. SMP Live ended in the beginning of 2020. Some of the content creators creating more a vlog channel called Lunch Club, which previously they were called the Goopcast, but because of copyright reasons it was renamed to Lunch Club, where they would make videos together. I'm sure nothing bad will ever happen to Lunch Club. One day, Dream and George made a server together. This was meant for them to just casually be playing with friends.
Yeah, we're embarking on a new journey. We are starting a survival world that we're on. We're on 1.16, the newest snapshot.
A month later, Dream added other content creators to this server, specifically Tommy Innit and his friend Tubbo. To kind of explain the rabid fan base of the Dream SMP, we kind of have to look at multiple aspects. Dream already was slowly growing this really big fan base because of Manhunt, but also COVID was starting. So there was this influx of people who were being lonely, which this grew a lot of fan bases. You can see this in other fan bases as well. Those that were active around the time had their biggest spikes during this time. Its fan base, from my experience, mostly existed on Twitter and TikTok, being mainly younger girls. From my forum, I have obviously statistics of what most people identify as. The thing is, this is mostly biased towards the Tumblr fanbase because that's where I posted it. But you can definitely see that the biggest category is people who identify as female. And a massive majority is currently between 16 and 20. So they would have been 4 years younger around the time of the start of the Dream SMP if they watched. There is this stereotypical image of Dream fans being the 14-year-old girls. I kind of don't know why this specific fan base happened to grow around Dream, because from what I've seen, the people that watched Minecraft YouTube, that big spike, there is a good portion of it that would have never touched Minecraft YouTube outside of that. I know people in real life who used to watch Dream SMP back in 2020 and 2021 and would never touch it again. I guess the most I can say is that I can blame COVID. And again, streaming content was just generally a lot more popular around it because of the loneliness. And this did create a kind of parasocial dynamic, which happens a lot with content creators. Parasocial being a phenomenon where a person sees another on a TV show or on YouTube, and they kind of have a preconceived idea of what that person is like, making them feel a certain closeness to them despite never having any direct contact. People started having emotional bonds with the content creators they were watching, which again, reminder, content creators aren't your friends. Then there's Dream's dynamic with his best friend George, who a lot of people shipped them, something that both guys really played into.
DNF VidCon shirt incident.
Do you like my shirt?
I can't really see it. We have the light.
There was definitely a weird over-sexualization of both guys around the fan base. There is a lot of very popular fanfic, which is straight up porn, which isn't weird for fanfic. However, considering it's real people, this definitely shocked people who are looking at the fandom from the outside. And we'll put a pin into the shipping conversation for now. Then Wilbur got added to the Dream SMP. Originally, he had the idea for SMP Earth to become a geopolitical roleplay server, which it never really got to that point outside of the fact that Technoblade did accomplish world domination.
Objection. Which crime has been committed?
You've just
Any
invaded every
rules?
single country on the map.
But with this new server, and with a content creator like Tommy in it, who again is very good at creating conflict, he saw an idea. One day on the server making Breaking Bad jokes.
You guys are drug dealers!
Starting a drug empire and singing Hamilton, and a nation was born.
From the hot dog van we shall prevail, life, liberty, and the pursuit of victory.
Analyzing the entirety of the Dream SMP might be a bit much for this video, considering how long it'd probably be. If anyone wants to see that, I definitely have thoughts. I definitely do. So I'll only be mentioning the fandom side of things and the things that are important. I won't go deep into the actual lore. I won't go full literary analysis on Minecraft roleplay, but I could, but that's just like a whole different rabbit hole. With the absurd plot of the Dream SMP, it created a new dynamic within the Minecraft community, because now these content creators were yes-anding themselves into a narrative.
You were born in this nation. Look, you're son of the general of L'Manberg.
Who's my mom then?
Ah, it's not important. There's no women in L'Manberg.
I see. So how did you, acquire me?
There's a lot of salmon.
Oh, no.
So fan art was made, fan songs, animatics to Hamilton songs, cosplays. There was a flag, uniforms. There really was this sense of community. We had the saddest animations, which I will say with full confidence that if it wasn't for Saddest, the Dream SMP would have never become as much of a cultural phenomenon as it was. Saddest is an animation YouTuber who made these absolutely gorgeous animations of the Dream SMP with this dramatic music, which, fun fact, the first one was made on their phone. But this really proved to people who might have not been interested in Minecraft roleplay that it could be exciting and it could be really cool.
I did not spend weeks planning this revolution, giving you guys gear for you guys to go in and replace one tyrant with another.
I think a lot of people, when talking about the Dream SMP roleplay, they kind of have this idea that this was the first server to ever do Minecraft roleplay. It's not. It's not. I used to watch Minecraft roleplays as a kid called The Kingdom, and it was made by Dutch YouTubers, and it was my life. But having a Minecraft roleplay become this popular definitely was unique. Having this kind of story and people being excited about it, people were willing to kind of suspend their disbelief or this Minecraft roleplay, which they otherwise wouldn't have been willing to. And then the idea of content creators not being people, but their characters, came even more rampant. Wilbur wasn't just a YouTuber, musician, and streamer, he was also a revolutionary, dad, and terrorist.
Independence or death. If we get no revolution, then we want nothing. We would rather die than give in to you and join your SMP.
Fans really got encouraged to make fan content. It was a collaborative media. Fans were as much a part of it as the content creators themselves. For example, Technoblade, Filza, and Wilbur were an unofficial content creation group called the Sleepy Boys, after a tweet that they all made at the same time while in a call. Later, during an MCC, Tommy was added to this, and people liked headcanoning that they were a family, where Filza was the dad because he was always kind of dad-like, and because the dynamic of Tommy being the little annoying brother and Wilbur and Techno being the older brothers, that kind of became an accepted concept throughout the entire fandom, which there was always kind of discussion between whether Wilbur or Technoblade were the elder brothers, because technically speaking, in real life, Wilbur was older, but people just generally thought Technoblade had the older brother vibes, so Techno was usually seen as the older brother. Eventually, the fandom kind of agreed upon the fact that they were twins, which is really funny, considering Wilbur is a human and Technoblade is a pig. This was not canon on the Dream SMP story. This was just an idea that the fandom liked. This, however, became canon when Phil joined the server during the Season 1 finale of the Dream SMP. He confirmed that his character was the dad of Wilbur's character.
Do it, Phil. Kill me. Phil, kill me. You're my son!
There has always been this kind of separation between Dream Team fans and the more Sleepy Boys Inc. side of things. And I think you can really see that in the fanfic. Dream Not Found, the ship name between Dream and George, usually, from what I've seen, I've not read that many fanfic of it, focuses on them as real people. They are streamers and they are YouTubers, which is seen by the most popular fanfic, Heatwaves, which was so popular that it crashed AO3 multiple times when it updated. Sleepy Boys Inc. fanfic was purely within the universe of Minecraft. They were fighting zombies, or at least it was an alternate universe based on them as characters. This then also kind of created discourse around AO3 immediately tagging fanfic of YouTubers as RPF, because to a lot of fanfic writers, their content was an RPF standing for real person fic. But also there was an inclusion of the person's real name in the tag when that name was known, which eventually people actually got Technoblade's name, Dave, removed from his AO3 tag. But later we found out that Dave's not even his real name. And I can't say that every Dream fan was not invested in his Dream SMP character. Dream apologist manifesto. But the discord on either side of the fandom was definitely different. There was definitely the separation between people who were purely invested in the content creators and their lives versus people who were invested into Minecraft roleplay. Usually they were more separated between Twitter and Tumblr. But also that doesn't mean that there were no Twitter fans that liked the roleplay, and there were no Tumblr fans that were invested in Dream's real life and his face reveal or whatever. But it was still kind of taboo, even on the roleplay side of things, to ship characters. Even when people separated character from person, they had respect for the content creator and decided that they wouldn't ship people. Something I always massively appreciated, because characters who I know would have been shipped if this had been a normal story weren't, because, well, that'd be weird. And honestly, my biggest gripe with fandom culture is the fact that oftentimes characters are not allowed to have intimate bonds with each other without it immediately being perceived as romantic, which something like the Dream SMP character Phil and character Techno, two guys living together who absolutely care for each other, are not perceived as romantic because they're best friends. that's just what they are. That is their character. Their character is that they're best friends, they are loyal to each other. And I love that. As an aromantic person, I love that. Not everything needs to be romantic, and that's like such a big part of this fandom. This doesn't mean that shipping wasn't a thing. Poppy Twitter existed. If you ever want to jump scare a old Dream SMP fan, just mention Poppy Twitter, which was a site of Twitter that purely shipped and sexualized the minor characters from the Dream SMP, or even the content creators, which is weird. Most of them were 16 at a time. That's weird. And there definitely were characters that were in relationships in the story, and because of that, there was fan content of those characters being in a relationship. An example would be character Quackity with character Call and character Sapnap, who were in a polyamorous marriage. But non-shipping was such a massive part of the Dream SMP fandom that it kind of created its own culture around non-shipping. Duo names. Duo names being the stand-in for ship names, but platonically, which is something I really wish more fandoms did. And it's not unique to the Dream SMP. I've seen it done in other fandoms. An example would be in Sander sides. The characters Remus and Roman, who are twins, they are either referred to as creativity twins if you like their dynamic as siblings, or Re-Rom if you ship them. Having this kind of separation between the two types of fan content so people could actually look for the thing that they wanted. But in the Dream SMP, this became so big. If you liked the two characters together, and they had any kind of content between each other, you would give them a duo name, a little nickname. One of the early examples being Clingy Duo between Tommy and Tubbo. This could also be bigger groups, Bench Trio being Sami, Tubbo, and Rambo. And this also caught on to other sides of the fandom with Desert Duo or Flower Husbands. And I know that didn't exist in the Hermitcraft fandom before that because Desert Duo was specifically of Third Life, which is later on in the fandom legacy, instead of giving them any other fandom name. But this also kind of became to a wild extent where if two people talk to each other like once, they'd get a duo name. For example, Gong Duo, which was Technoblade and Grian, who I love, but they don't interact that much. So Twitter discourse. A lot of controversy existed around the Dream SMP. For example, Dream cheating at speedrunning, which he vehemently denied to the point that he hired a data analysis to prove that he didn't cheat, only to find out that yes, he did cheat. He had a mod installed that's changed his RNG, but he didn't know. This will be very indicative of how Dream deals with any kind of controversy, because he will just deny it. Dream's way of talking about fandom discourse was usually telling his fans he loved them, but then also shit-talking the people shit-talking him publicly, sending all of his fans after them. The Twitter fandom had kind of a very tendency to be super aggressive. Anyone who made a small mistake would immediately get bombarded with hate and doxing, death threats, just anything really. And I'm not saying calling out someone is a bad thing to do. There are many issues that you could be talking about. When someone does say something bad, you should point that out. But this was to an extent that didn't make any sense. Any kind of small tweet made in any point in their life would be dug up and put up and be like, hey, look at this awful person, without any real chance for the content creator to change. At some point they even had the hashtag #KickDave to make Technoblade uncomfortable by using his real name, which again, Dave's not his real name. Blatant lies would get trending for no reason really, because people wanted attention. That's at least my personal theory behind it, is that people, their close proximity to content creators and the fact that they could almost immediately get a reply out of a content creator kind of made them feel entitled to that reply. So they would just do anything to create an outrage, because that way they'd get a reaction. I have to reiterate, doesn't mean there weren't issues to be talking about, but calling out a content creator like Tommy Yen for being lesbophobic because he said he was an honorary lesbian because someone in his chat called him that.
Tommy, how is that honorary lesbian? Am I? I just don't know.
Is kind of reductive. It's taking away from actual issues, because when a content creator gets called problematic now, it's oftentimes doesn't mean anything really, because you have content creators who are actual jerks, terrible people, and then you have someone who made a tweet once. And at a certain point, back in December 2020, Josh made a pretty controversial tweet on stan culture, denouncing it completely and telling anyone who participated in to unfollow him. He very much talked about idolization of content creators and how putting them up on a pedestal was bad.
But when you put someone on a pedestal like that, right? Flaws kind of just float to the background, and then to these people it seems like most things, if not everything they do, is okay.
He got at the time a lot of hate for this. A lot of people making fun of him, that he was making a bigger deal out of something that wasn't that big of a deal. We'll come back to that. Meanwhile, on Tumblr, we had the roleplay side of things. Apologist discourse. The Dream SMP was streamed from different perspectives, which means that anyone kind of had their own view of the story, because everyone watched a different content creator, and because of that, we're viewing the story through an unreliable narrator. This then also created a lot of discourse around who was correct. If you had any kind of negative opinion on another character's actions, be prepared to go to war. I specifically remember this very being a thing with Technoblade fans and Tommy fans, where those two characters would fight a lot, and those fans just couldn't agree with each other. They hated each other. Character Tommy fans and character Technoblade fans are natural enemies. This is also where the usage of C in front of a character's name became more used. While Tumblr did already use C Technoblade or C Tommy for discussions like this, it only really got popular on Twitter during the Exile arc. C standing for character or canon, depending on who you ask. It was to signify that we were talking about the character and not the real person. This was to kind of stop misinformation from spreading, because if you saw Wilbur Sid just died trending, if you weren't into fandom, you might not understand that that wasn't the real person we were talking about. When the lore started slowing down, this discourse also kind of got very repetitive. People overusing the same arguments again and again and again. It was kind of like hell.
This isn't purgatory! This is hell!
And like, there were massive amounts of content hidden behind hour-long VODs. So nobody ever really had the chance to watch all of it, which also meant that oftentimes people had a misunderstanding on how they perceived these characters. Because if you watched Tommy's POV, you might not fully understand Technoblade's motivation and the other way around, because you do not see the full story. I don't think I put enough emphasis on the amount of content there is, and how the Dream SMP would not have worked without its fans, because people would kind of organize everything. Because if you were to get into the Dream SMP, it would be literally impossible if you weren't there at the moment. It's the biggest you had to be there kind of thing. Every time there was like a big lore event, people would update each other with big update accounts and tell people what they missed, what was important. Something like Blueberry TV, which I have so much admiration for this one person. I'm like pretty sure it's one person who has edited back almost every stream of the Dream SMP and made them into digestible videos. And you could make kind of like criticism of content forms, people who just repost clips and basically make money off of these content creators, which that is annoying and that is bad. However, this is something else. This is someone who genuinely cares about these content creators and wanted to edit everything. If you wanted to get into the Dream SMP, this is your only option, because it's too much, and it was too much even back then. Without the fans, this wouldn't have worked. The wiki for the Dream SMP is quite honestly one of the most impressive ones I've ever seen in any fandom. There are like actual proper lists for items. People listed the names of every dog in Technoblade's wolf army. They were so detailed with this. You need to understand, this isn't a series that is like easy to find information about. You'd have to go through hours upon hours of VODs. And this wiki is so organized despite that. That's insane. That's so cool. I also want to talk about fanon and canon. Canon being something that is true in the story, whereas fanon is an idea, a headcanon that the fandom just really likes and is agreed upon by most of the fandom. I like mentioned before that Dream SMP was an inherently collaborative medium, and I want to restate that. So much of the fandom space was built around headcanons and people's perceptions of the characters. At a certain point, people started using these characters more like collaborative OCs than the actual characters from the story. For example, when fans decided that Kristen, Phil's wife, was the goddess of death because Phil had the nickname Angel of Death, it was made canon by Phil because he liked the idea so much.
So Nikki, this is the goddess of death.
Yeah, I go by lots of names, but that's one of them.
There are so many like little canon things that became canon afterwards. The 3 life system, where a character only properly dies after dying 3 times, because people wanted stakes in the story, but at the same time people are capable of dying in Minecraft without it being a big deal. Agreement was made between content creators that you died 3 times, then you were dead. Which came from Reddit. The quote, "Welcome home Theseus," was talked about before it actually happened. A lot of fans wanted Technoblade to reference the Theseus speech when he encountered Tommy again during season 2. So when Technoblade said, "Welcome home Theseus,"
Welcome home, Theseus!
The phrase "he said the thing" was trending because so many people wanted him to say that. And the same for fan art and fan designs.
It's like you were saying, like, I always love seeing how different people interpret, like, you get some people where, like, you go into, like, a Minecraft skin, you're like, this is how I want to do it. And obviously, like, we're stuck to, like, pixels kind of thing, so some things don't translate as well as you want, but when an artist picks up on the fact that, like, oh, this was meant to be, like, my Life series thing, I remember season 1, I added these little, like, were maybe almost like little blaze rod things that went around my head, like floating crown kind of thing. And I was just, because I was like, I need something different in between these lives. And I remember, like, artists picked it up and, like, ran with it, and, like, they made it this cool thing.
There's a certain agreed upon way of characters looking, even when it might not be based around the Minecraft skin. Tommy's green bandana that he got from Tubbo, which never happened, but everyone agrees upon that he got a green bandana from Tubbo. This is also something you see in podcast fandoms, where you don't have a direct description of a character, but still fandoms are capable of agreeing upon common design traits. And some of these ideas have a clear origin. For example, green being illustrated as a parrot hybrid in most versions, which comes from season 7 in the whole pesky bird stuff. Or how character Tubbo is oftentimes seen as a goat, because people like to fan an idea that he was actually Schlatt's lost son. Which, character Schlatt, or Schlatt's persona, is a ram, not a goat. But it's still a nice parallel between the 2 characters. While the Dream SMP was going on, Carl Jacobs, yes, the guy from Mr. Beast, decided to make a spin-off called Tales from the SMP. In Tales from the SMP, character Carl time travels between different eras of the Dream SMP lore, which kind of build upon the world building, and it was usually very unserious and silly. Carl would make up a scenario, and different Dream SMP content creators were allowed to play out bits and scenarios that they otherwise wouldn't.
Porkums, is that Italian?
No.
That was...
This was really fucking fun. I love Tales from the SMP. It was honestly one of the most peaks of Dream SMP, and how fun it was. It was so funny.
We have decided to give you temporary freedom of speech for 30 minutes.
Ooh, 30 minutes. Oh, well, I have a question then. So I read something in a book. What is a union?
Bad idea.
this was
No
a bad,
rights.
bad
No
idea.
rights for
Bad
poor
idea.
people.
On to other stuff. Third Life started on April 2021. It was a hardcore series started by Korean, in which content creators had 3 lives, and once they were on their last life, they would become hostile. This combined a lot of Minecraft's family-friendly content creators, like the Hermitcraft members, but also some other content creators that were friends of Korean. This was placed in a very small world and definitely had some kind of like Hunger Games vibes.
Ooh, the call and away we go.
I will murder them.
Something that really worked for Third Life was the fact that it was this smaller, contained concept. Content creators would be online all at the same time, would record at the same time, and would upload these videos at the same time, making the uploads of these perspectives a big deal. You would look forward to a new video every week. But it also was unique for the fact that the type of content creators that were on this server usually would make the type of content where they were making mega builds or being a bit more serious about Minecraft. This was a scenario in which they were allowed to have a different dynamic with each other, where they had to try and kill each other.
Who just stole my cookie?
Yeah, why'd you steal his cookie?
No, there was no cookie
we just watched you steal it. Oh my god! No!
No way.
You did not just take out 2 of 3 of them.
3 people.
We did it! You're a
What?
monster!
And the fandom loved it, particularly Desert Duo's dynamic, which is still very much famous within the fandom. The series also didn't get drawn out. There was a definitive ending to it, outside of the fact that Korean made a lot of these types of series. Continuing on with Last Life and Double Life, which they don't know how to count. This entire concept was so successful, every season kind of having a different gimmick to it. And this definitely was a lot less roleplay heavy, but it still had a very massive narrative draw to it, because there was a lot of betrayal in it, a lot of character dynamics, and there were people who were role-playing, mainly Martin.
What's death like? I never asked the first time.
It's a little bit moist, to be honest.
Moist.
Yes.
I'll bear that in mind.
The blood of our foes.
Meanwhile, on Hermitcraft, the move's big. Due to the Hermitcraft fandom being mainly on Tumblr, it definitely has a similar vibe to the Dream SMP Tumblr side of things. It is less interactive with its content creators, it's more making content for itself. The biggest difference between the two is that Hermitcraft doesn't really have a narrative. While content creators will do bits and have kind of vibes, it is mostly build focused, having kind of a stable economy for a Minecraft server, which I think is very fascinating.
Shout out to the time that the Hermitcraft economy crashed because of inflation. I think that's like one of the funniest things to ever happen.
But there was definitely some fandomization in this, which in this case I think is kind of a byproduct of the fact that content creators' real lives are very much separated from their content. Most of these content creators have real lives outside of Minecraft. Most of them are married or even have kids, and the fandom doesn't really acknowledge that. So it is easier to see the characters as characters, because there is definitely that separation. Even though the content creators' personalities are mainly their personalities. Most of the fandom is there for the builds, the vibes, and the jokes.
I've always thought in terms of handling difficult topics, the Hermitcraft Life series fandom is the best at it. I've never seen anyone make ridicule comments or jokes. In the fandom, I've seen some horrid stuff outside of it, and I think the way the fandom handles stuff like death and disability is very mature and many people could learn from it. IDK, I just thought it's an interesting topic because in other fandoms it's almost the opposite, for me at least.
Empire's SMP was a SMP started by Fwib, which was a content SMP with again a lot of family-friendly content creators, which also focused on massive builds. Empire's SMP as a concept is about giving every content creator a single empire to rule over, And with that comes roleplay and their characters kind of having lore together with their empire.
They didn't intend for it to be as roleplay heavy as it ended up being. Scott made a joke where he was trolling Shovel during a stream, and that became this big plot about a demon called Zornoff.
Those are all our friends. Those are our friends!
They kind of went into season 2 with a bit more lore-orientated view to their content, so they had more stuff planned out, whereas the original season 1 of Empires wasn't planned out to that extent.
And eventually Lizzie made a whole ass musical of her season 1 character.
A deal with destiny, a bargain with fate. This business is bound to profit me as long as that fool takes the bait.
This series definitely is similar to Hermitcraft in its vibes because it has this reliable content stream via YouTube. There also was just a big content boom in 2021 of smaller content SMPs, people trying to start up their own Minecraft career. Bamboo, who was an upstarting content creator who really used TikTok to become famous, which is the first example of someone properly doing that, using that algorithm to become super popular. They eventually got added to Dream SMP during a stream where they were joking about joining the Dream SMP and what they would do when they did.
Let me actually try to hack on. Let me actually try to hack on right now, actually.
Okay.
Let me actually try to hack on. Oh, there we go. It worked.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it worked.
Whoa.
There we go. Perfect.
Okay.
1 second. Let me just wait for my window capture to work. There we are. It worked.
Whoa!
This then inspired a lot of people to make why you should add me to the Dream SMP type of TikToks. Honestly, Rambo really was living YN's dream. A lot of these smaller content creators got popular around 2021. We, for example, have Outsiders SMP, which was a roleplay story server kind of inspired by Maze Run. Naval SMP was fairly popular and is, I think, still going. It is the content SMP that I've seen the most fan creations of. For example, cosplays on TikTok. SMPs are lesser known, but still had big content creators on them. For example, Shady Oaks, which was a lot of OG Minecraft YouTubers in it. Or more recently, roleplay servers like Rats SMP and Pirates SMP. MCC was also still going strong as a monthly event. It's still one of the things that really brings together this fandom every month. It's a place where you could see content creators who you would otherwise not see interacting in teams of 4.
I always like to imagine it like the Smash Bros of Minecraft, where you bring in like some Hermitcraft people and some Empires and some Dream SMP, and you sort of bring them and mesh them into a team that the audience are like, I never would have seen green with Wilbur suit. Like, what? This is a weird combo. Then you have audiences who maybe love one creator but hate another one. But then if they end up putting together, it causes like fights between fandoms of like, wow, why is this person here?
MCC was a lot less competitive because it wasn't for money, but instead you got this cool coin. This didn't stop people from being competitive, Dream, but generally around the fandom around it is very chill and casual. At this point, the Dream SMP was already very notorious for its fanbase. People on Tumblr, for example, really didn't like the fans. One poor soul on Tumblr decided to post this.
MCYT fans will see an unrelated post and be like, oh my goodness, this reminds me of how shitty Fart Baby 69 and Penis Unavailable were during the Minecraft electric chair execution scene.
While the post attempted to make fun of the Minecraft YouTuber community, everyone just collectively decided that it was the funniest shit ever, and they started making a fake server based on the post called Penis SMP. They made posts about fake controversies, fake discourse.
Look, I might be a C-penis apologist, but like honestly, what happened in Bong Bong Town was not his fault. If C Bend Over hadn't stolen his radical PP pen, then C
fan art, people would analyze streams like they would during this era of Dream SMP. There was a sheep called Fuckass. for a second, everyone forgot that we all kind of really hated each other, and just at a certain point, the Dream SMP slowly started dying out. Content creators would be less active, whereas we used to have basically daily content. Now it was moments, small events. Also, because certain content creators started making content IRL, mainly Tommy in it. And there definitely were still creators trying their best. I think Technoblade really did try and keep their Dream SMP alive. And same for Quackity, who made these lore streams that were full-on movies. They were great. Scheduling issues and people kind of starting up their lives again did make it a lot harder for people to start really doing the same amount of content they used to. For example, Wilverset at some point even posted a fanfic about his Dream SMP character on AO3 because they didn't have time to actually make a lore stream with everyone involved. So he just wrote it down, which that fanfic is the origin of this famous TikTok audio.
Wilbur, you forget yourself. Quackity, you forget where you stand next to me. You are in my shadow. Act like it. Maybe it's not a coincidence that every single idea you've ever had has failed under your guidance. You are a walking second place medal.
It felt like the heydays of the Dream SMP were behind us.
This week on Hermitcraft, me!
Hermitcraft started their season 9 and Emprise SMP started their season 2. And at the time, they would cross over playing on each other's surface, which was a very exciting thing to see.
This week on Empires.
Oh good.
Pixel Riffs is happy to see his hosts for the day.
The crossover episode has begun.
But like, outside of that, 2020 was a very empty year.
Shout out to the fact that I genuinely just forgot about Dream's face reveal. But Dream face revealed, which was at the time a big deal because, well, he's a very famous YouTuber, and he teased it for so long. He would make so many like teasers about it. When Dream face revealed, there was this whole controversy about people thinking he was ugly and people making fun of him. I don't like that. Like, I don't care if you don't like him. I don't like him, but Dream is an average looking guy. And I think people kind of just generally want to project hate onto a person they don't like for no apparent reason. And I think that's stupid. I don't know if any actual fans of Dream cared about him being ugly, as like a lot of people portray Dream fans to be. Because I wasn't like that active in that part of the community at the time, and neither did I care. Most of the hate towards Dream during that time, to me, seemed to have been from Dream haters. The death of the Dream SMP. Content warning or mentions of cancer. At the end of 2021, Technoblade uploaded a video where I've been talking about how he had been diagnosed with cancer. At the time, he portrayed this with an air of levity. However, in June 2022, Technoblade's dad uploaded it, Techno's last video.
He wrote a message and he asked me to read it to all of you. Hello everyone, Technoblade here. If you're watching this, I am dead.
Technoblade's death hit hard for a lot of people. I think it's one of the things that the fandom still hasn't gotten over. And neither have I. It feels weird to grieve a person that I've never met, and yet here I am. I have a lot of respect for Technoblade's family, especially Technodad, who is still around in the community, being a positive light for everyone. think of him, it's like a Greek myth. A legacy kept alive by the people that pass it on. And that's what Technoblade Never Dies really means.
With that, the last arcs of the Dream SMP kind of resolved, but a lot of them also didn't resolve at all. Last official lore stream was on November 2022. A stream that up until making this video, I hadn't even watched. I think that says enough about the fandom's reaction to this, because I do remember the fandom reactions that a lot of people didn't like the ending, and I don't either, and it's not canon to me. In 2023, Quackity decided to make a multilingual Minecraft server, QSMP. He both streams in Spanish and in English, and decided he wanted to kind of combine those communities.
Sí, tú di lo que te dé tu gana. My friend here has something to say. ¿Qué vas a decir?
Can we say because I'm not family friendly content?
This as an idea for a server, kind of combining communities and having them communicate with each other, is amazing and really cool. Around that time, Dream suddenly also wanted to make a multilingual Minecraft server with a live translation mod, and then got really mad at Quackity for having the same idea, or at least he had a whole tantrum because Quackity didn't respond to his messages, and then eventually dropped the idea of making a multilingual server altogether. I've not watched the QSMP, but I've seen a lot of very positive responses to it. The server is run by moderators who kind of plan out the story events. This kind of puts pressure off of the content creators. Another concept in QSMP that is used is the eggs. They had content creators team up.
Hey, yes!
And they had to kind of take care of this baby egg, who was played by a moderator. If they didn't do certain tasks on a certain day, the kid would die, and people got obscenely attached to these children.
Oh my god, holy shit, okay.
I missed you so
Holy
much.
shit! Welcome back, Cheyenne, welcome back.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning, Cheyenne. Yeah!
To the point that a lot of the conflict around the QSB server is surrounded around these eggs.
Saw people mentioning this event where the QSMP fans started Language Day, which basically meant that people were allowed to speak in their native language, because there's an obvious dominance of the English language in fandom spaces, and with something like QSMP, which is about sharing languages, it was like a lot more fun to have people kind of communicate with their own languages. En ik vind dat idee best wel leuk. Another big event that I forgot to mention was the Sexy Man polls, where people pitted different Minecraft YouTubers against each other to see who was the most sexiest one, and Joe Hills won. I still believe that Scar deserved the win, but that's because I'm very biased, because I love Scar.
The problem with the Dream SMP originally, and why it had this like weird crescendo in slowly fading out, was because of the lack of communication between the content creators. QSMP tried to change that by having a moderation team and having people behind the scenes plan stuff out. This didn't, however, go as well as it should have been. Recently, the QSMP team has been put under fire for overworking their staff and not paying them properly. Quackity has kind of stated that he was very hands-off with this process, and has decided since to step away as the head of the team and letting other people take charge who know better. I don't fully know the situation beyond that. Again, I don't watch QSMP, and it's also an ongoing situation right now. But the takeaway is that the communication behind the scenes wasn't as good as it should have been. With this fandom, again, this is very much a build-on to the Dream SMP. It is streaming content with a lot of, from the English side, a lot of the same content creators. It has a lot of lore, a lot of story. People are allowed to do their own thing and then their own lore. Also kind of very clearly making the characters.
I thought, and still do, that it was full of immensely creative people. Artists, writers, translators, analysts, poll makers, etc. make such banger shit for their little blog people. I've seen so many incredulous comments like, "This is Minecraft fanart?" The fandom is chock full of passion and genuinely very cool people. Also, I quite enjoy fandoms based around SMPs, because of the chaos, live bloggers, and fairly frequent new content as compared to, say, a typical episodic TV show. It's something you have to be part of while it's still running to get the full experience, which, on second thought, can be kind of overwhelming. Especially due to multiple POV storytelling, I feel like SMP fandoms lean towards being more of like a social thing. Like every new stream I saw people updating about their favorite characters, so to get the full picture I guess you'd have to kind of skim that because of unreliable narrators and so on. Conversely, I think it's neat that there isn't a typical main character in most SMP-based fandom, which leads to a lot of fun fan content.
Of course, other servers are also starting up all the time. We currently have Schlatt with the sleep-deprived SMP.
I'm proud to announce the sleep-deprived multiplayer server is the only Minecraft server with no pedophiles on it. No pedophiles!
I know that there is also now the SOS SMP with like a lot of the Empire's content creators. And now we have to talk about a lot of the more serious stuff. Content warnings for physical abuse, grooming, and sexual assault. Now we're getting to the part of the video that I kind of struggle with talking about because it is a very complex topic. And that is the kind of unhealthy relationship content creators can have with their fans in regards to idolizing them when they're not good people. At the start of 2021, friends of Call Me Carson, members of the Lunch Club, came out with the fact that Carson had been sexting minor fans. When people talk about this, they usually portray it like it was only one girl. This is not the case. It is very explicitly said that it was multiple girls, and Carson has admitted to this.
Couldn't have. Also, seeing the DMs he exchanged with some of the girls that have come forward absolutely fucking disgusted me. Up until yesterday, I thought that all these encounters Carson had were very much, spur-of-the-moment mistakes that he regretted instantly. And that was very much the story that everybody was told. And knowing what we do now, it's simply just not the case.
He, after this, went off of the internet and went to therapy. He's back now, but he did admit to it. Call Me Carson was, at the time, a content creator I looked up to. I've been a fan of him since 2018. And this was, I think, the first time a content creator that I genuinely enjoyed to the extent where I would have, say they were an inspiration to me, turned out to be a shitty person. And I think that really proved something, that it doesn't really matter who these people are. They could just secretly be terrible people. With Dream, it's a very difficult situation because there is a lot less of a definitive truth to it. Dream has been accused of grooming minor fans and sexting with them on Snapchat. Most of this information is from deleted screenshots or Dream responding to the situations via his private Twitter account, which I do not follow because I don't own Twitter. And there is this whole kind of debate on whether he is or is not a terrible person. With this conversation, I always find that there is kind of this air around it that people don't actually care about the truth. Whether Dream did or did not do this is weirdly irrelevant because Dream fans will just defend him no matter what. Even if there is proof suddenly that he is a terrible person, they will nitpick it to the end of the earth to prove that he's not. And on the other hand, a lot of
people that hate Dream have hated Dream even before there was evidence. Because, well, I said it before, a good portion of his fan base is young girls, and people usually will just hate on things young girls like. Dream is cringy, Dream is weird, and therefore people will hate on it. So when there is proof that he might be a terrible person, people latch onto that, because then they can justify their own feelings on why they dislike this cringy YouTuber. And it's a similar situation with George Not Found, who got accused of touching a 18-year-old girl under the shirt when she was drunk and didn't consent. He admitted to this only for him to backtrack, and now it's a weird ping-pong back and forth of accusations and no real definitive truth. I will believe Katie Bugs. The fact that George admitted to it only for him to change his story feels weird to me, and a lot of people will talk about how Katie Bugs is constantly changing her story, but I don't really see that. It's again, people heavily nitpicking her story to the point that, yeah, if you put that much effort into it, I'm sure you could convince yourself that there is faults in the story. And it really weirdly delegitimizes a lot of these victims. The narrative around it is very victim-blamey. We'll find any reason to prove that, no, you did consent to it, actually. You wanted that. You agreed to it. When we weren't there, we don't know what happened. I don't know these people, and I will never know these people. And to me, trying to prove they are good people is ultimately useless. Because they could be hiding anything from us. And I don't mean that in like a paranoid, everyone's secretly a terrible person kind of way. Because no, that's not what I think. It's just that they've shown that they have weird misogynistic tendencies. To me, they've shown that they don't actually care about their fans. This is all for monetary gain. They will do anything, they will kind of force anything out of anyone to prove that they are good people because their public image is that important to them. And I think at this point, that is my personal stance on that. Things like Sapnap streaming on Kick of all platforms, or Dream having a private Snapchat where he randomly adds people to in the first place, which is weird. But also just the way they handle their fan bases is weird to me, because it really is playing into that parasocial narrative. And I don't want to be like, oh, they are parasocial and all content creators are bad because they have parasocial relationships, because that is inevitably part of the job. But selling baby photos of yourself because you know your fans will buy it, having overpriced merch, basically barely making YouTube videos anymore because you know people will buy, you know people will care, because you've created this kind of image of yourself where they will love you no matter what. Even in lesser instances, like his terrible sportsmanship during MCC, Dream has shown that he doesn't actually care about taking any kind of accountability. And I know that's a buzzword, being like, oh, he has to take accountability, but like genuinely, to me, he has shown that he is incapable of seeing himself as in the wrong. Because even in smaller instances, even in those kinds of things where he's like, oh, well, MCC is always against me because they redid an event, he kind of always puts himself in the victim role. Shovel, also known as Shelby, a content creator from Empire's SMP, recently came out with her abuse story.
Silence has always brought me peace, and this time it feels like my silence is not keeping my peace. It's only keeping somebody else's peace.
Where she talked about her ex-boyfriend who would physically bite her to the point that it hurt her, to the point that she would scream out in pain. Eventually they got a safe word for this, only for him to completely ignore it. He would emotionally neglect her and just generally be a terrible boyfriend towards her.
And he knew he was hurting me. There was no way that he didn't know because of the safe word that he made. And he just didn't care. He was hurting me and he didn't care. And even looked like he was enjoying it sometimes.
While she didn't use a name during the stream, everyone kind of seemed to already know who she was talking about. And not soon after, Wilbur came out with a statement that it was indeed him. So that other people around Wilbur Soot have also come out talking about how he is generally very manipulative and just not a good person. One of his other exes even coming out with a story where she talks about how he raped her. This hit like a truck to me. Whereas with a content creator like Dream, I don't particularly care. Wilbur Soot is definitely a content creator I looked up to. Like, heavily. Your City Gave Me Asthma was one of my favorite albums. And I still struggle kind of with that realization that he's a terrible person. Because it feels weird because he always displayed himself as a feminist. Right? And the thing is, I wholeheartedly believe in change. I'm a very positive-minded person. I want to believe that people can change. But with internet, there is this separation between real life and the image we put out, right? We can kind of cherry pick how people perceive us. We create a certain image for content creators. So when that image is proven wrong, some weird cognitive dissonance happens where we kind of start looking for the proof that they aren't terrible people because, well, we know them. We've known them for years, and you kind of try and see any angle where, well, you have to be right. And, like, that is a problem with a lot of celebrity culture, which I don't know the solution to. Be aware of it, I guess, because I can't ban people from liking celebrities. You can't do that. But we should be aware of it. Was Josh right? So I kind of wanted to look at the forum that I had people fill in because it's fun and I love statistics. Again, I was talking about this where a majority seems to be female, the other majority being somewhere under the non-binary umbrella. A majority is between 16 and 20, a good majority. The between 11 and 15 kind of scares me. I remember I posted this to both Tumblr and TikTok, but I didn't post it to both platforms at the same time. So when I posted it to TikTok, the younger age bracket went up a good bit. So most of these are from TikTok. I gave people a little bit too much room with being allowed to fill in their own answers here because I know that for a lot of people they watched Minecraft YouTube as a kid but then started to watch again somewhere in 2020. So, which that is what most people were saying here. Then this is obviously how biased my statistics are because I posted this to Tumblr and that's my majority of my audience. Also, I realized I forgot to add Reddit to this. I probably should have. What platform do you prefer? YouTube videos is a pretty big majority, which honestly surprised me because, like, as we can see, the most popular SMP is the Dream SMP, which was majority streamed. So it's interesting to see that most people prefer YouTube videos. I do love this answer, mostly fandom osmosis. So what SMP did you watch? So again, massive majority is Dream SMP, and then it's Hermitcraft, plus Third Life, Last Life, and then a lot of people added their favorite SMPs and stuff. There is like a lot of these. I remember someone saying they used to watch Game Meneer. I'm Dutch. I used to watch Game Meneer as well. Also, I love, shout out to anyone who said any foreign Minecraft YouTuber. Like, there was a good bit of people who mentioned German YouTubers. Please, I love that. I love that people watch content creators from their own country. It's like over 300 answers. There's just so much in this, and I love reading it. Also, there's a lot of people who thanked me for letting them ramble. Please, I love people rambling. It's my favorite thing ever. Rambling is my love language. I love seeing people go off about things they like. When this came out about Wilbur, a lot of people deleted their fan content for the Dream SMP. One of the most prominent first fan songs, An Ode to Lemberg, is no longer up, which it really saddens me to see that, because that is something people made because they liked something. They loved something so much they wanted to create something for that. And to see that being ruined by one man who just sucked is awful.
In recent memory, all of the Wilbur shit. It's taken me a month to wrap my head around and come to terms with what he did, along with how that recontextualized one of my favorite stories. But I've learned that Lemberg was more than just one British guy's dream. It was a car crash in slow motion that had multiple people at the wheel simultaneously. Wilbur may have made the idea, but it was Nikki who made the flag, it was Eric who built the walls, it was Tommy who believed, it was Tabo who led, and it was Technoblade who tore it down. Twice!
The Dream SMP would have been nothing without its fans. It would have been nothing without people transcribing streams. It would have been nothing with update accounts and people trying to keep each other up to date. Know that in the end of the day, it was the fan creators that made this fandom good. It's fan creators who made this fandom something. It's fan creators that really made the Dream SMP great. When it comes to this fandom, I can't get myself to hate it. I asked on this forum, do you regret participating in the Minecraft YouTube fandom? Because I know people who do, and I don't fault them for that. There's a kind of sad nostalgia towards it, and I am ashamed of that to a certain extent, because it has been tainted a lot, right? It has been tainted so much. I started watching Minecraft YouTubers when I was 10. I really enjoyed this Minecraft story called The Kingdom, which was a Dutch Minecraft YouTuber roleplay. And it was at the time the first hyperfixation that I can remember. I remember talking about it for hours to the point that my best friend told me to just shut up and talk about anything else. I learned to speak English from Stampy. So when I first saw the Dream SMP, all it did was make me feel nostalgic, because it was a sense of familiarity that I don't feel with any other type of content. Who would you consider your favorite Minecraft YouTuber, and why?
Gemini Tay, mostly because I like her attitude to life and her sweet demeanor.
Because he's funny and also based as fuck.
Okay, so my favorite of the old YouTubers are Stacy Plays and Snappy Cat. I have a lot of nostalgia for their videos, and they're like
Smallish Beans, because it's just something so satisfying about the way he edits his videos.
I know he's not really
He's
a
genuinely
Minecraft
hilarious
streamer anymore,
too.
but anyway,
He's so me for real.
Dan TDM, because he literally
He's
raised
a
me.
weird freak of nature, and
A
his
man was more
videos feel like
present than
doing
my own
drugs.
father, in my
He's
opinion.
gamers. He's very silly, but also has fun lore that I can say.
He's a talented builder, he does good redstone, he's super
That's why I
chill,
hate
not
him.
over the
I
top
love his
energetic,
storytelling
and
and
no
adore his
drama.
characters. And of course, I love
Flip,
his
because he's very
personality.
nice and
was my
funny.
favorite as a
Also, his
kid.
builds are amazing.
Okay. I grew up with Techno and Philza, back with the
LD
OG
Shadow Lady, Stacey
Times
Plays,
with
and
Scar.
Shovel
Self-
have always been my
self-explanatory.
favourites.
When they did SMP
Those
up
bring me
together, I was on
comfort and
cloud
joy
nine.
whenever they build or discover
Joel
something
Smallish
they
Beans,
didn't
he's my
know
weird
about
little
the
guy,
game.
he's so insane.
Tommy,
Also,
I always
Gemini
like
Tay,
when
she's
you
the
look
best,
everywhere
and I
and
would
you
The
murder
love
most
for her.
successful
videos
ones.
when I'm ending the stream
It's too many
around
men.
1 in the
Let 'em
half
out.
hours. I love his energy.
He's just the
Right now, my
calmest,
favorite is
funniest,
FandomC.
just
I
generally the
never
most
expected
comforting
myself to
to
enjoy
all
it.
the
Even though he's not
streamers I
really a
watch,
Minecraft
and
I
that
love
makes
it
him
for
my
its
favorite.
both QS
I would say
and
RTK.
PY and to be
I love his new
Scar,
series, but
he's
I've always
silly.
enjoyed his Minecraft.
Slamsicle. I love an improv
Okay,
freak.
so I know
He's
it's niche,
very
but I
good at many
absolutely love
different
Zombie
emotional
Cleo.
tones, and
She's
he's
one of the
hilarious.
most undercover
I've recently
hermits. She's
started
very
watching
funny
some
and super
Sniffers,
creative,
and
and
it's
watching
been
her
pretty
stuff
fun
just
to
makes me very
Technoblade.
happy.
Wasn't the first Minecraft YouTuber I watched, but he was the one who I ended up maining for Dream SMP, and I was really drawn to him. I miss him a lot.
Everything, and please, even though it's not going now, and even though, you know, it's a totally different community online now, and so many things have changed, and so many things won't be the same. Please keep talking about it, and please never feel ashamed that that was a part of your life and that happened, because it's really cool. It's a really cool thing, and none of us meant for it to happen. No one on this server planned for the Dream SMP. None of us planned, you know, I never planned for 3 years to still have you guys. And keeping the Dream SMP alive, keeping the fan art, don't fucking take the piss out of anyone that's in it. Because keeping that alive is keeping Techno's memory alive as well.
Jump in the Cadillac.